My name is Kainton the Genius, and today we are continuing with lesson 2. So we continue with working with R script files, and also we work on matrices and a few other things. So this is basically what we are going to be learning today. So we have list of items and a few other things we are going to learn. Working with R script file, creating a matrix, matrix operations, basic plotting, SAQ, PDF, and JPEG functions. Alright, so I'm going to put away this presentation and I'm going to come back here to where we stopped. So we are saying that we created this file. Remember how we created it by going to File and say New R script. So when we say New R script, we have a new file and we save it in My Documents. So if we go to My Documents, we can actually see this. So this is a way for you to have what you are working with saved in the file. How then do you run this? So now there are two bars here or tools here you can use. Let's take, for instance, this run actually runs the last command. So at this point, it says z is equal to 3579. So it's actually running this at this point. All right, another thing you want to know is that when you click on any of these buttons, these variables are in the workspace. So what it means is that in the workspace, in the console, if you check the value of x, you can see the value of x as well. You can see the value of y. All right, that being said, let's look at another tool. So you have this says rerun the previous code region. So it's basically the same thing, which is running the selected code. Now let's see, if you go to source, you can see source and source with echo. What does this mean? Source actually transfers what is in the file into your workspace without running it. Again, I repeat, source command transfers what is in the file, our script file, to the workspace without running it. So if you click on source at this point, it transfers this to the workspace. So while we have it in the workspace, it's not actually running it. Now, how do we then run it as well? So if you come here, you can see source with echo. So it transfers it and echoes it as well, and also runs it. So that's how to work with our script file. Sometimes what might be necessary to do is to work with an R script file, maybe a new R script file. So as you're typing, you are running it. In that case, you have a copy of your file available for you. But for now, we are going to just use the command line. All right, we mentioned that we are going to be working with matrices today. Let's see. So I say we are going to be working with matrices. So let's see. How do we create a matrix? Of course, you know that a matrix is a collection of numbers. So let's take, for instance, we want to create a 4x4 matrix made up of 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can say A is equal to C. So give it a second. So A is equal to matrix. So at this point, the matrix function asks you of the data you want to use. So let's say we want to use the data specified here. C 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are data. The next thing we want to specify is the number of rows and the number of columns. So this time I'm saying we are creating a 2x2 matrix, 2 rows, 2 columns. So what we are going to say is the number of columns n col equal to 2 and n row equal to 2. Let's see. All right, so if we check what is in A, you can see that it creates this matrix, but there's a catch. If you look at how it arranges it 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of it arranges it by column. How do we create it to arrange it by row? That is, row 1, column 1 should be 1, and row 1, column 2 should be 2. In that case, you need to specify by row equal to true. So you say something like by row equal to 2. So at this point, if you check, you can see that the matrix has been arranged by row. Again, you can create a matrix in a shorthand form. So you can actually take out all of this. So by row is equal to true, or by row is equal to 2. So true is actually, this is actually what I was trying to write. Just give a second. Yeah, by row is equal to true. So this is actually how it should be. So let's take out all of this. Only leave the particular values assigned and you have the same result. So at this point, we also have the same result. It's a shorthand way of writing it. Again, you can say that, let's say you have x, let's say the data is equal to c, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you can also create the matrix by saying A is equal to matrix. So instead of specifying 1, 2, 3, 4 inside, you can just say data, number of rows is 2 and number of columns is 2, and arrange it by row if you want. Matrix, so that sometimes you have typo here and there. What is happening to me today? So alright, so this is what we have. Now I'm going to now teach you a little bit more. Let's say you want to create a, let's say 10 by 10 matrix made up of 100 elements. How do you do that? I'm going to now teach you what is called SEQ. SEQ is a way to generate a sequence of items. So again, I told you that if you want to learn about what the function means, you can just say, type a question mark before it and type SEQ, and it gives sequence generation, generate regular sequences, standard generic with default method, blah, 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 blah. So basically, SEQ, SEQ 10, so let's see, SEQ, and you specify how much item do you want to generate. You want to generate 10 items, and it starts from 1 and generates items from 1 to 10. Okay, let's now say we have a data set that is made up of 100 elements, SEQ, made up of 100 elements. I want to use this data to create a matrix of 10 by 10, matrix 10 by 10 matrix. So let's say this matrix is B is equal to matrix, and that matrix is going to be 10 by 10. So it's going to be use this data is going to have 10 rows, 10 columns, and it's arranged. Let's just leave it this way at this point. All right, so what I'll do now is to check what this matrix is. And you can see it's a 10 by 10 matrix that you can see right there. So let me clear my screen so that I'll tell you a bit about plotting. So let me clear my screen by using Ctrl L because I need to tell you about plotting. But before I do that, there's another way to generate a sequence. So let me show you that way. It's using the I think the range command, or the range command, or the range operator. So let's say I want to generate a matrix, a 10 by 10 matrix as well. And now I want to use a range operator. I can just say D starts from 1 to 100. So at this point, I also have generated a sequence of items of 1 to 100. So you can see D starts from 1 to 100. Okay, so that being said, I would like to now tell you about a little about plotting. So I want to plot x against y, and we have x equals SEQ made up of 10 items from 1 to 10, and y is made up of, now I'm going to tell you about using square roots. So SQRT x. Okay, so y is the square root of x. If we check what x is 1 to 10, and we check what y is 1 to 10, square root of 1 to 10. But I actually want to say y squared. So y is equal to x squared, x times x. So y, okay, this is what I wanted to do. So let's plot a graph of x against y. So to plot a graph of x against y, we can say we can use the plot command. So let's say plot x, y, and you have it right here. Let's try a different way to plot. So let's say scatter, no, not scatter smoosh, scatter x and y. Also, scatter, I think this should be working. Could not find function scatter. Okay, I think I'm mixing up Python and R. So this is how to plot. Now let's try to change the color by saying col equal to red. Col equal to red. Could not. Oh no, I'm still using this thing. Okay, plot col equal to red. So now the color is now red. Again, I want to mention that you can have this file as a PDF or as a JPEG, right? So I can say PDF or let's call it figure of tutorial 1. Okay, so this is a different thing. So if I now plot, okay, so basically this PDF, okay, this function. Actually, I forgot what PDF does. So let's just check PDF. Okay, PDF starts the graphic device driver for producing PDF graphics. So basically, it's the same. Because right now, if we have our plots, we can actually export it either to PDF or as an image. So I think this makes more sense to just use the graphical, the button here to export it as PDF. So it takes some time and it's going to open up as a PDF file. I think it might have exported to my document. So okay, so let's see. Save as image. Okay, so it saves it in this directory. This directory is documents. So the name of the file is rplot03. So if I save, if I go to my documents, so if I go to my documents, and I look for rplots, here you can see the PDF we created is here. You can, no, this is not. So it should be rplot03. So here. So this is what we did. Let's see. All right, this is what we did. And we also have the PDF as well, rplot02 as a PDF. Okay, so that's how to plot. These are the basics for now. I want to make sure you understand the basics. And finally, let me just tidy up. In case of the sequence of items, you can say A is equal to SEQ. You can specify the starting point and you specify the ending point. Let's say we want to generate only from 10 to 20. So it generates from 10 to 20. What I will also mention is that you can specify the length of items you want to generate. So if you say 10 to 20 and you want to generate only 5 items, so the next argument is the number of items generated. So you can see, sorry, the next item is a step. So this is a step. So in steps of 5. So again, let's generate items from 1 to 100 in steps of 5. So that will have 5, 10, 15, 20. So I have A is equal to SEQ, this time from 0 to 100 in steps of 5. In steps of 5. Okay, so actually, so let's say what from 0 to 100 in steps of 5. Okay, so this is how this works. All right, so play around with all of these. We've covered quite a bit of things. So we've covered this at this point. So as I mentioned, I'm going to keep it a bit easier this time. But as we move on, we'll be getting to something a bit more tough. So the next class is going to be matrix indexing. I'm going to stop here. I'd like to thank you for viewing, and also remember to subscribe to my channel. Just click on the subscribe button below and let me know if you have any challenges. I'm going to help you.